Welcome to This Is What 40 Looks Like, where structure meets soul and reinvention isn't just allowed, it's expected. I'm Melodieann Whiteley, author, speaker, and founder of the Rebel Tribe, here to help you design a life and a business that fits who you are now.
And I'm Andy W. Shepherd, heart-centered coach and creative rebel, reminding you that your best years aren't behind you, they're unfolding right now. Together, we're having the real conversations about starting over, finding purpose, and living fully after 40, 50, 60, or whenever the heck you're ready. So make yourself a cuppa,
Take a deep breath,
and let's dive in. Welcome back to This Is What 40 Looks Like. Together, we're closing out our confidence series with a topic that hits everyone at some point: when doubt gets in the way. Because no matter how confident you are, doubt often still shows up.
And this episode is going to be just a little bit different because in most of the other episodes you've heard Andy and I kind of agree on almost everything. We approach everything pretty much the same. But we discovered in the course of building this episode out that Andy and I approach doubt very differently. So we want to share both perspectives so that you can take what fits you. So whether you're someone who moves through doubt by reflection like Andy or by action like me.
Yeah, I mean, the different and alternative ways are really important because, you know, all of us are different. So one size fits all approach is rarely going to work. And also, one approach may seem more fitting in specific circumstances and vice versa. And basically, in Portuguese, we say coisa de lua, which means, you know, it's a thing of the moon. It's just how our fancy takes us. So with that in mind, we're going to give you the two. And that is actually why we collaborated and got together, because we realized, you know, as we said in the first episodes, you know, I'm all, you know, very woo-woo, and Melodieann is very analytical, and, you know, it's important to have both. It can't just be all woo-woo. You've got to have your feet on the ground and all that good stuff. So, yeah, for me, doubt is a confidence thing. In my experience as a coach, it is often learned from our parents. It can possibly come from those around us or the ones who are closest to us.
And for me, I don't know, for me, it shows up as a lack of confidence. It's that little voice that's making you question your ability. You're questioning your experience. You're questioning whether you're really equipped to do what you're feeling called to do. And it doesn't always sound like some big dramatic thing. Sometimes it's just this little tiny whisper in the back of your head going, who the heck do you think you are? I mean, I have experienced very, very real in-person on a big stage experience. It was the very first time I ever spoke on a stage. I think you were there, Andy, because it was at one of Ken's events. It might have been the one where we met. It was in Denver. And I was at this big marketing conference in Denver. And I had just kind of started my career. And Ken, the organizer, he gave me an opportunity to speak. And I was absolutely thrilled because it's Ken. You know, it was Ken at one of his big events. I'm allowed to speak. And I mean, I practiced. I knew my material. I had just gotten out of having some surgery and stuff. So I was a little not looking my best. I mean, I was, you know, but I told myself people were there for what I knew, not what I looked like. So I was good. And I walked up on stage and I opened my speech with a question. Now, nobody was supposed to know the answer to this question. Okay. Not one person was supposed to know the answer to this question. But to my shock, of course, someone actually answered it. Okay. Of course they did. And my entire setup was built on no one knowing the answer. So it really kind of threw me off my stride, but for a second. But I adjusted and I kept going. And then I looked up and I saw three of the biggest names in the industry standing in the back of the room, Ken and it was Joel Comm and David Hancock. Okay. So they were all standing in the back of the room talking. And they were just talking quietly. And then they all lifted their heads and they looked directly at me. for like just a second. They all just kind of looked at me for a second, but then they all leaned back in together and started talking again. And I just knew in that moment, my brain just went, I know what they're saying. They're looking at me going, she doesn't belong here. She's not a marketer like us. She's not a big name marketer like us. She's an imposter. Why is she here? And that was doubt at like full volume. But the thing that I remember about it is I didn't quit. I didn't walk off the stage. I didn't let that moment define me. I got better. I worked with a communication specialist. You remember Felicia, right? I worked with Felicia
Mhm.
Slattery, and I developed my voice, and I built confidence, and I built confidence through action. I mean, I could have just walked away and said no, but I took action to clear that doubt. And that kind of became a turning point for me instead of a stopping point.
That's awesome that you're able to. I think this is the most important thing that we can do to take something that happens and, make the best out of it. My favorite saying at the moment is everything happens for a reason. But my version of this is that we don't stop until we've found the gift in it, because there's a gift in everything. It's definitely the glass half full and the glass full kind of thing. And yeah, as for looking in the audience, I can completely relate to this. You got certain people there, and it just kind of then your doubts, your confidence could be easily smashed to pieces, if we're not careful. The stuff that we did in episode 2, sorry, the second part of this could really help, so I do recommend it. Helps you to get rock solid confidence. That definitely helps. But yeah, I mean, basically maybe this is why bright lights at the front of the stage were invented to blind us so that we couldn't see the audience. And I can attest to this. I've been on stage a couple of times. I was on Tony Robbins' stage one time, and you can't see anything. And yeah, that's definitely a good thing. So yeah, and do we ever get frustrated? Tell these thoughts of doubts to shut up. Who the heck is this imposter? I don't want you. Go away. But it doesn't.
Yeah, well, when doubt gets in the way from me, I just don't sit in it too long. It's just not my thing. I move through it with action. And I know that's why I said we do things really differently, because when I have doubt that's slowing me down, I do something about it. I use evidence, I use analytics, I use strategy over emotion. I lean on, past wins as proof that the doubt is lying. Okay, it's a limiting belief and it's lying, and I take a small step instead of waiting, instead of sitting back waiting for me to get my confidence and to feel fearless. I move because I know that once I start moving, all that confidence will come back and the doubt will go away. So momentum is kind of my strategy.
These are great. These are great. I love what you're saying, because I'm just thinking, I like simple phrases. And so for me is, if doubt comes in my mind, I would like make it a trigger to make me go, you're a liar. And I just like I'm going to use that. I'm going to start saying this. You are a liar. You are not the truth. Go away. And I just keep saying that, make it an affirmation, if you like. That's really good. Thank you. Thank you, Melodieann. That's great. Yeah. And, sometimes just determination and just say, like Jack Canfield says, oh, what the heck, go for it anyway. And so sometimes we've got to do that. It's like, yeah, we've got doubt. It's like, well, whatever. I'm still doing it. I'm, as what a comedian in England says, am I bothered? It's like, I'm not bothered. I don't care. I'm still doing it. I'm still going forward. I'm going to smash this. Yeah, great
Yeah,
stuff. I like it.
it reminds me of something what you were saying just reminds me of something I read, and I love it and I think about it a lot. It's like every morning, you should get up and look at yourself in the mirror and go, why the hell not? Okay. Why the hell not? Whatever I want to do
Yeah,
today, why the hell not?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I love it.
But I have learned from you, from working closely with you, that not everyone moves through doubt with action first. Some people need stillness before movement.
And when we say still, we don't mean frozen from inaction, from fear. It's not the rabbit in the uh, high beams of a car kind of frozen. We're talking about this stillness. There's many go-to ways to deal with doubt. And for me, they're inner reflection. So I can start asking different questions and analyzing and looking and feeling. So what am I feeling? Go inward. And this is not just, you could go deep, and sometimes you might feel an ache or pain in your body, and that can symbolize stuff. I do processes to actually remove these feelings, and that can be really powerful. There's a bit of woo woo for you folks. You knew you could rely on me for that. You can ask yourself, just an emotional feeling, and you can ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Sometimes it could be something from the past that is maybe triggering this doubt. Last episode, I talked about me being an incident in the classroom where I got removed from one class into a higher class, and that gave me self-doubt, imposter syndrome. So there's can be all sorts of things going on. For clearer inner reflections, often people use meditation to do that. You can use that as a contemplative kind of process, but just the process of just quietening the mind, making it still, just getting all of the crazy stuff that's always going through our heads. The meditators call the mind, refer to the mind as being full of crazy monkeys because they're just going off and thinking all sorts of stuff and out of control. So, I mean, I think we can all relate to that. So, if we can calm these monkeys down, we can calm our thoughts down, then that is really going to help. So, using our intuition and gut feeling, then maybe that'll help us to make a right decision. Because doubt can be, well, I need to make a decision. I need to have an action. I need to, whatever it is. So it can help us to remove the doubt because we have some security of what we should do, where we should go. And this is a big topic which we might do in the future. Let's see, is going with the flow of life. I really do believe in that. We talk about serendipity, we talk about synchronicity, we talk about things happening for a reason, or it was meant to be. All of those things to me is going with flow. I think there is a natural path that we can follow through life, and we can get some kind of guidance there, whether it's divine intervention guidance or whether it's flowing with the universe or whatever it is. This is something that's been a big thing for me ever since a friend of the family taught it to me in my kind of early teens, and it's always stayed in my mind. Big topic this, and very, very important. So kind of flowing from that, no pun intended, is prayer. This is a great place to get guidance, to remove your doubts. I have dear friends who talk all day to God, to Jesus, whoever, and their lives seem blessed because of this connection. And I think this is really the greatest thing. If we're staying inside of ourselves, then we're going to get a set bunch of results. But if we have a coach, if we have a guide, if we have a mentor, if we have spiritual guidance from a superior force, universe, whatever you want to call it, then that is really going to help. And the antidote to doubt is boosting confidence, and affirmations are really good for that. So I can recommend those as well. And having done all of that, you can make progress because you've got less doubt to worry about because you've let it go.
After listening to all of that, okay, I don't have all of that, okay? I don't. Because for me, if your doubt is rooted in fear, which a lot of times it is, it's just plain fear, nothing else. It's just, I'm afraid. I'm doing something new and I'm afraid. Or it's perfectionism because God forbid we should be anything but, perfect. Or it is imposter syndrome. You need to take action, okay? You just need to take action. When if you're waiting to feel ready or if you're waiting to feel good enough, then that wait, that stillness, that can actually turn into avoidance and you never actually do the thing that you should be doing because let's be real, okay? We are never ever going to be good enough. If we honestly are having that doubt in our head that we're not good enough or we're not ready, we're never going to be ready. We're never going to be good enough. We're never going to be perfect. So you need to do something to get past that. You need to move because that movement is what's going to bring clarity.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And you see, folks, this is what it's all about. It's like, there's no one size fits all. I think there are opportunities to learn things. So people who are using the stuff that I do could learn from Melodieann and vice versa. I think that's what it's all about. As a side note, to perfection, with what you're saying about perfectionism and so on, often it's a delaying tactic where, well, you said, confidence is the root cause, but it's giving us an excuse to delay and to stop when your subconscious is basically trying to protect you because you could be getting into a dangerous situation where people are going to ridicule you because you've made the wrong decision or you've done whatever fantastic thing you've done is maybe not so fantastic, and so it's trying to keep you safe so you're not hurt. But unfortunately, the mechanism that it uses, the way that it does it, can be quite negative and really get in our way. So, these are things to just be aware of and to just let go and just, kind of look at and say, yeah, I don't need you. Thank you. Bye. Kind of thing. Reconnecting with your inner voice is the thing because you've got your inner guidance which will help you, and you can have something higher up guiding you as well, which is absolutely fantastic. When you can't hear your own intuition because everything is too noisy, doubting every option can be a sign that it's time to pause and to
Yeah, but you can't let that fear keep you from doing things. I mean, like yesterday, I was posting on Facebook, and I wanted to share something about the fact that your past experiences. A lot of us look at that as that's just emotional baggage, and it's not. Okay, it's not. It's currency, and I wanted to share that. So I posted that in a group, and like within minutes, somebody came on and commented that that was the most, how'd he put it? That was the most cat lady box wine drinking
listen.
boomer asinine thing he'd ever read. Now I could have let that just like, oh my God, that was a stupid thing to post, and I could have taken it down and I could have not posted anything else. And then I thought about it for a little bit and I was like, no, it's not. There are a lot of people who have grown by owning their stories and owning their past experiences. And through that, they've had a lot of growth. And that's important. And I just made that comment. I just replied to him and said, thanks for stopping by and sharing your thoughts. There are a lot of people who have actually grown and accomplished great things by acknowledging their past experiences. And if you don't like what I read, feel free to scroll on by. Okay. If you don't like what I'm putting out there, feel free to just scroll on by. And I left it at that. And that comment got a lot of engagement. It got a lot of people coming in and going, hey, yeah, what she said. So I could have stopped there, but I knew in my heart what I wanted to share. And action works best when you already know deep down what you want to do. I felt that that message was important. People needed to hear it. I knew that in my heart. And so I needed to take action. I could have been
That's
scared
really
to step out there and done it. I could have been, just looping in my head, replaying that comment in my head for the rest of the day, or, wait until maybe I could word it a little better or something. I don't know. But no, that was a sign that I really just needed to move forward and just break that whole cycle. And I haven't heard another peep out of him since then. So I'm guessing that my polite comment, instead of engaging on his level, my nice polite comment kind of took the wind out of his sails, I guess, and we're all good now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, pure Dale Carnegie, he'd be very proud of you. That was beautiful the way you did that. No, really, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. And it's interesting because the way you dealt with it is, a really great way of getting interaction with other people because they see your calm, they see, the way that you're dealing with it, they respect you for doing that and making your points valid as well. And then, they're joining in and supporting you and saying the other guy was perhaps not a little erroneous in the way he was commenting. So, yeah, I love it. That's great. And if you act too quickly without reflection, you can move in the wrong direction and confidence can easily create regret. And going back to what you said about looping in your head, it kind of reminded me of something that I've talked about quite a bit. And I remember learning this. Your mind is basically a supercomputer and is constantly giving answers to anything you hold in it. That's its job. It's there to give answers. But garbage in, garbage out. So, I mean, the most common, well, great simple example of this is if you give the question, why doesn't anybody like me? And your brain's going to go, because you smell, because you're fat, because you don't look very nice, because you don't do your eyebrows correctly, because you need a haircut, because you don't dress the way you should, because you wear sandals with socks. It'll just come out with all sorts of absolute nonsense. So, you know, put something good in there, ask some proper questions. So flip it around. It's like, well, why do people like me? Would be a great question. And anyway, it's just a thought that came to my mind. So we have to be very careful, basically, what we think about and hold in our mind. I hope that was a good example for you.
I don't know, sandals and socks. That's I don't know about that
Beige
one.
cardigans,
Okay.
beige cardigans.
Sandals and
Remember,
socks, baby. I'll tell you, I don't know. Okay.
you
Oh,
like
and
them?
incidentally, I am a cat. No, as I said, sandals and
Oh,
socks. No, no,
okay.
no.
No, I just
That's
flipped for a
grounds for
minute.
divorce there.
You're too
Okay.
right. You're
I've
too
already
right.
told Daryl if I ever see you out there walking around in shorts and sandals and socks, that's it. We're done, buddy. And
Yeah,
incidentally, I am a cat lady, but I'm a bit of a wine snob. So the box wine is out, but yeah, I am a cat lady. And I am a boomer. So he got 2 out of 3 right anyway.
there you go. There you go.
But I could, if I'd have just sat there and thought about it too long without doing anything, then, I might not have, I could have talked myself out of replying at all, which would have been like validation that he managed to shut me up by his little comment. Or I could have talked myself in out of posting anything else. I posted that again today, some other places, because it just felt like people needed to hear that. So it could have kept me from doing that. It might have delayed others people's growth. I could have let that whole thing just turn into inertia and just stop, but I didn't, because it's all about taking action. When you're feeling that doubt, you need to do something to move forward.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's great that you reacted that way because, these things paralyze us, these things stop us. And so many times. something that can benefit for other people is just not going to be available, which is a tragedy, really, So if your doubt feels like emotional fog or spiritual disconnection, start with stillness. And for some people, that can mean linking to the divine or linking to spirit, linking to the universe, whatever you want to call it.
And I always say that if your doubt feels more like fear dressed up as logic, I'll do it when I'm more ready. I'll do it when I'm more qualified. I'll do it when I'm less scared. I'll do it when maybe no one will laugh at me or make snide comments. I'll do it when I've lost weight, whatever. Okay. If that's what you're hearing in your head, if it's just fear, you need to start with one small step. Just one small step is all it takes.
I have a process to work on that fear. When we're free from fear, we can move ahead with clarity. So, stillness without fear brings clarity.
And I think action strengthens confidence.
The more you do something, the better you get at it, and consequently, the more confident you will become. And both are necessary, preferably along with removing your blocks and fears and so on. So, as I mentioned last time, this is still open. I'd like to gift you a From Fear to Fearless coaching session, absolutely free, because you've been listening to this confidence series. I think that could really help. So if that's interesting to you, then just go to talktoandythecoach.com and book your session with me. I look forward to seeing you there.
Well, I don't think it's an either or kind of thing. It's not either stillness or action. It's not either meditation woo stuff or, taking a step in structure. It's not an either or kind of thing. It's knowing what you need in that moment. Okay. It's absolutely knowing what you need in order to move forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, one size doesn't fit all. And we change from moment to moment. And Coisa di Lua, remember, it's we can just our emotions, our needs change from moment to moment. So if you feel heavy, tangled, or emotionally charged, racing thoughts, feeling disconnected, you probably need stillness and inner balance.
And if your doubt feels like procrastination, overthinking, waiting for permission, that's usually a sign that you need to take action.
I see them as an alarm signal. And what does an alarm do? It asks for action. And if you're exhausted, grieving, overwhelming, or spiritually disconnected, pause. Don't force decisions, even if those around you are pressurizing you. In fact, especially if they're pressurizing you, don't do it.
And if you're bored or you're restless or you're stuck in comparison or you're constantly second guessing yourself, move, do something, anything, even if it's not perfect. I think who was it? Theodore Roosevelt, I think, said the best thing you can do in any given situation, and I'm paraphrasing badly here, I know, but it's like the best thing you can do in any given situation is the right thing. The second best thing you can do is the wrong thing. Both of those are better than doing nothing. Okay, so just do something, move.
Exactly. Jack Canfield, just, oh, what the heck, go for it anyway kind of situation. And remember, folks, stillness realigns you.
And action proves to your nervous system that you are capable of doing what you want to do.
The question isn't whether doubt is bad, it's just an alarm asking for action.
So the real question is, what is your doubt actually asking you for right now? Like I said, it's not an either or, it's a which one do I need right now?
That's it. We got our tools, like your Batman utility belt. Which one are we going to pull out? Is it going to be rest? Is it going to be stillness, inner reflection, intuition, gut feeling, meditation, perhaps prayer and affirmations are all excellent tools. Or maybe we could use a bit of everything or just pick and choose one or the other.
Or maybe you're just going to get up and move.
That's right. All of these are extremely valid, and often inner stillness leads to action.
And all of these things, they all lead to growth. So it doesn't really matter which one you choose, so long as you choose the one you need at that time.
That's right. And remember, doubt doesn't mean you're broken. Often it simply means you're standing at the edge of something that matters or indicates inner work that needs doing. So I see it as uncovering an opportunity for inner work and growth.
So doubt doesn't get the final word unless you give it one. Okay. If you want to do that, that's on you, but it doesn't get the final word unless you choose to.
And if today's episode resonated with you,
then of course we'd love it if you'd share it with someone who might need to hear it right now.
You can also leave us a review. It really does help new listeners find the show.
And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all that stuff. It helps us grow, and it makes sure that you don't miss what's coming next.
We release new episodes every week.
Thanks for spending part of your day with us. This is what 40 looks like, and 50, and 60, and close to 70.
And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to This Is What 40 Looks Like. If you loved today's episode, share it with a friend, leave us a review, hit that notification button so you never miss an episode, and don't forget to leave us a comment. We'd love to hear how your next chapter is unfolding.
And remember, your age is not a deadline, it's a launching pad. Keep rebelling, keep rising, and we'll see you on the next episode.